Hello, brothers and sisters of the Briar. Professor Jeremiah here. Starting to warm back up this week. It's a bit overcast right now, so I'm to squint a little bit. Smoking some Bagpiper's Dream, which Sea Smoke Pipe had sent me. And this pipe here, this is one of the first Chinese made pipes which I purchased. Chinese made as far as I know. And you know, it's interesting, in some of those early pipes, this may look like a piece of acrylic. The seller told me it was, but I instantly knew it wasn't because I was familiar with the grain. You'd really have to see it in person to be able to catch the full pattern in it. I just don't know that you'll be able to see it on this camera. It's a piece of ivory. I think in those early days in China when they were making some of the pipes, and this was recent. I mean when they were making some of the Roadtown or HS Studio pipes, they were taking any kind of reclaimed items to really make the pipes look nice. And this one really had that pop on it. I mean, just, you know, different shape, kind of unique. I was thinking today, I've been working, had the privilege to work with a lot of young people over this summer and working at youth camps or even just different settings here in the States. And earlier this morning, I was reminded of a story that I'd once read in a missionary biography. The missionary was asked to come into the London Missionary Society's office for an interview. He had already, put in an application to be one of their missionaries, and this was supposed to be the final interview. And he was given the time of 5:30 a.m. to show up at their office. And he thought that's a bit early, but he thought maybe there's something important going on. Maybe somebody has to travel, and that's the only time they can meet me. So he got up, prepared, went to their office, arrived just a little bit ahead of time, and waited. And waited. And waited. And time just kept passing. And finally, around 10 o'clock, they called him into the office. So he'd been sitting there since a little before 5:30. And he came in and greeted the couple of board members who were there and shook hands with them and sat down, and they went through just the basic formalities of his name and where he had schooled and why he felt called to be a missionary and where he planned on going, where he would like to be assigned to. And then the next question really struck him as odd. They said, well, what's 2 plus 2? And he thought at first maybe this was a trick question. So he answered 4. And they said, okay. They said, well, what's 8 plus 8? And he said, well, 16. I said, okay. And so they asked him, they said, do you carry a penknife? So he said, yes, I do. And they said, well, let's see it. So he pulled out his penknife. And then they said, do you know how to sharpen a knife? And he said, well, yes, I do. And the interviewer opened his desk drawer and pulled out a sharpening stone and handed it to the young man and said, well, let me see you sharpen your knife. This is strange. So he started sharpening his pocket knife. Then the interviewer asked him if he had read his Bible, and he said yes. And the interviewer said, do you understand everything written in it? And he said, well, no, I don't understand everything, but I try my best. So the board members just kind of looked at each other and they each nodded their head. The main interviewer, the director, he looked over at the young man and he said, well, you have the job. You can go with the London Missionary Society. And the young man said, well, thank you. And as he was about to get up to leave, they said, so, do you have any questions? And the young man said, no, sir, I'm fine. And they said, well, it's interesting. A lot of people, when they come, they're upset that they got here early, were told to arrive early, and then we didn't call them in for the meeting until later. And he said, some people don't even wait. And he said, well, I figured you had a reason. Maybe something's going on. And they said, well. So they said, you didn't seem to mind answering our simple questions. And he's like, well, I figured there must have been a reason for you asking them. And they said, yes. They said, well, young man, you're going to find on the mission field that there's times that you're going to have to wait great lengths of time. So you must be a person of patience to make it on the mission field. And then they said there's times that no matter how great your schooling is, you're going to be asked to do simple, menial, mundane tasks. And will you be able to do those? And they said, and you answered each of our simple questions without any difficulty. And then they said, then there's going to be times that you're going to need to have some basic skills, like knowing how to do something as simple as sharpen your own pocket knife. And they said, you've done all of these. And then you acknowledge the fact that you don't know and understand all of the Bible, but you've been diligent enough to read it. And they said, you've met our qualifications. I think today that's a test I would love to run many people through, but I doubt many would make the mark, to tell you the truth. Whenever a new missionary would come to the field, I would always tell them something that an older missionary had once told me. He said, if you have a list of 10 things that you wish to accomplish that day, he said, just think of a basic grocery shopping list. He said, at the end of the day, if you've gotten to cross one of those things off your list, rejoice. He said, because here on the mission field, things take much longer. Had he not have told me that, I would have been a very frustrated person. But because he told me that, I found a lot of freedom. I found a lot of times I would get a couple of things marked off my list. And as time progressed, I learned that when you could mark more than one thing off your to-do list, it was time to rejoice. And you definitely have to learn patience. My coworker and I learned to take a book with us wherever we went so that you could redeem the time. Because there's times you would wait and wait and wait. A simple task like renewing my driver's license, it once took 6 different visits to the DMV just to renew my driver's license. Incredible. He's the mayor of the town passing. Another politician stopped at the stop sign right now. At least he didn't run it. Sitting here on my front porch at the 4-way, you wouldn't believe the people that I see run the stop signs here. You would think that they're mere suggestions. I had to tell a little story about that another day. Brothers and sisters, we do have a Zoom meetup this evening. I hope you've stayed around long enough to hear me say that. It's coming right up. It's just around the corner. It'll be at 6:30 Central Standard Time. We'll run till about 8:30. Just depends on how many people we have. We had a great meetup this past Sunday. We ended up with only one person from across the pond joining us. That was Three Rivers, and so glad that he could join us. But we had a total of 6 people come in and out of the room, and it was just a great time of just catching up. And I'll try to do another one of those Sunday meetups or afternoon meetups later. I know there's a number of people that just aren't able to make these the particular time or the particular day that we have. So we'll see if we can schedule another one of those soon. Maybe on a different day just to see who we might catch. Brothers and sisters, hope I see you this evening. Till then, God bless.